be examining these to show you that it's not tricked and fake. See? See this? Nothing? Nothing. Nothing at all.
Nothing in here.
But wait a minute, wait. What is this?
What?
Snake, Lego, egg? What the? What? Take this. What is this? Another snake and a...
What do you have the flashlight for?
Modern TV has been around since about the 1950s. However, the discoveries leading up to it started as early as the 1800s. The very first electrical TV was produced by RCA. It was capable of 343 lines and 30 frames per second. From this model, we have made improvements until we have, well, TV as we know it today. The improvements have been larger screen size, smaller body size, higher resolution, and sharper pictures. There were many discoveries that lead up to this point. In 1872, Joseph May discovered that selenium's conductivity is enhanced by light. Then in 1878, Mr. Senelk proposed fax transmission using a selenium scanner and telegraphy. And this is basically sending a message to somebody by telegraph, but having it received by a scanner. These two things lead to the concept of television. In the 1890s, Victorian trade card predicts that a device can be used to transmit picture and sound. 10 years later, the word television is used at a 1900 Paris Invention exhibition. Boris Rosing of Russia designs a mechanical scanner with CRT, which is a cathode ray tube, right here. Picture tube. With a cathode ray tube receiver. In 1908, Campbell Swinton proposes using the CRT for both scanning and receiving. The first successful transmission of images was in 1911. They were reddish-orange in color and about half the size of a business card.
So they're about this big. And that's what the picture looked like. In 1921, Philo T. Farnsworth, 14, had a vision of an electronical TV scanning system. In 1922, Sir Francis Jenkins transmit still pictures wirelessly with mechanical systems. 3 years later, he was able to transmit moving objects. The following year, Ernst Anderson, who was an employee of GE, was proclaimed the inventor of television by the St. Louis Press, demonstrated TV to radio engineers. Also in the same year, Farnsworth transmitted a straight line via his electronical CRT system. This technology was not only being produced in America, a person named Takanagi was also producing it in Japan. Transmissions were also being sent across the Atlantic Ocean from London to New York. In the year 1935, Farnsworth was ruled in favor of a patent which prevented RCA from gaining complete control over television. Later that year, Germany began what they called the first television broadcasting service in the world. It was successful, but with low resolution and few receivers. The first all-electronic system was produced the next year in April. This allowed the Berlin Olympics to be televised using RCA and Farnsworth equipment. Over the next couple years, more television companies were springing up around the world, and with it, more transmitters and receivers.
1939, at the New York World's Fair, David Sarnoff announced that sight and sound have now been combined. 10 days later, at the opening ceremonies, FDR was the first president in history to be televised. After this, the race for who could get first markable color television was on. Peter Goldmark, in 1940, announced that CBS had just that. In 1942, though, disaster struck the television industry. All commercial production of television equipment was banned for the duration of the war. NBC, the only major U.S. broadcasting company at the time, was canceled. The ban was later lifted in 1945, and the race was on again. After the war, television companies hurried to be the first to release sets into the market. Viewtone was the first to do so. They released a pre-war design marketed as a 1946 model. It was sold at an affordable price so people could buy them. A year later, RCA flooded the market with black and white sets to try and slow CBS's CBS Color. Facing the challenge of CBS, Sarnoff stepped up development of an all-electronic RCA system. The perfected system, the all-electronic system, was ready by December of 1950. In June of 1951, RCA demonstrates its electronic color system, but later that year in October, TV production is once again shut down due to the Korean War. In 1953, CBS cedes the victory of the color war to RCA, giving them the title of the first commercial producers of the all-electronic color TV. The next year, RCA places its first all-electronic set on the market. The CTC 100 had a 12.5-inch screen and was sold at a price of $1,000. Expected sales were to be around 75,000 units. However, only a reported 5,000 were sold. The current belief is that only 1,000 were sold to the public. Others were donated to schools or sold to employees at discount prices.
There's no one actual inventor of the television, but people that contributed to the invention of the models were EFW, or Ernst Frederick Werner Alexanderson, Bellin and Bartholomew, two French inventors, Alice Semple Braid, an American, John Logie Braid, Scottish, Violet T. Farnsworth, Leslie E. Flory, Dens Del Milhoy, he's Hungarian, Charles Francis Jenkins, Alvarez, Boris Rosig, and Ulysses Armand Savinara. Then for our 5 most popular models, we took the 5 most common different brands, and we came up with 5 TVs with these specs. The 2004 JVC 20-inch flat screen TV VCR, and that sold for $199.99. The Apex 24-inch flat screen TV, that was $139.95. The Sony 24-inch flat screen Trinitron with TV, or with remote, $400. The Panasonic 20-inch color TV VCR, $187. And the Toshiba 24-inch TV DVD VCR for $369.99.
Our appliance doesn't convert its electrical energy into any other type. It uses the electrical energy to create magnetic fields, causing the pixels to light up. And then
For our calculations.
the power rating for our TV was 120 volts, 60 hertz, and 1.2 amps. Compared to the rest of the TVs in our houses and any other ones we found, they were the same. So our appliance was built for 120 volts. The current that runs through our TV is 1.20 amps. The resistance of it is 100 ohms. Our TV uses 144 joules in 1 second, and in an hour it uses 518 kilojoules. The cost of running our TV for 5 minutes is 0.18 cents, and to run a TV for an hour costs 2.16 cents, and 5 hours a day per month would be $3.24. Alright, this is a sketch of our circuit. Basically the power comes in right here, and has to go over there. And then it goes through resistor and into the on-off switch where there's also a fuse. After that, it goes into the transformer. And we didn't put all the stuff on here to save you guys the egg and you just explain it. Save us the egg and you then most things go to the transformer. Off it here, it goes out to the picture tube, which is right there, and there it goes through another transformer. And off of the picture tube, there's the focus, and off the transformer this way, it goes into a circuit board. That one. And we we didn't draw that up to see if you guys get any once again.
There's like 6 or 7 or 10 of these things, so.
Yeah. And after that, 2 of them, it goes off of that over to the channels, and the channels, what that is just 17 different switches, and only one of them will be on at a time. And the channels range from
2 up to 13, and then U1 through U6.
also off the circuit board is the speaker, and that's just power going to and then back. The color sentry is another thing leading off of the circuit board. What that is, it's just a switch with a capacitor and a lamp.
This one.
Then we have the volume.
Which is also right here.
It's just a potentiometer. And then over here are 5 more potentiometers with which are the tint, the brightness, and stuff like that. So basically everything's connected to the circuit boards and then goes to the transformers, the on-off switch.
Then some fun facts about our TV. Okay, the history of Channel 1. Most people don't realize that early U.S. TVs had Channel 1. Pre-war electronic televisions had 3 to 5 channel turners, which included Channel 1. The FCC, or the Federal Communications Commission, reorganized the frequencies in the 1940s that killed Channel 1 by assigning it for non-TV use. Post-war television sets built through 1947 had 13 channel turners. In 1948, the mixture of 12 and 13 channel sets, and a few manufacturers even continued to sell 13 channel sets in 1949, as old inventory was being depleted. In 1949, the VHF TV set had 12 channels, and they started with 2 and went through 13. So Channel 1 died because of World War II.
And then if you'll notice on this one, you probably can't see it, but there is no channel 1 on this, it starts on 2.
Yep.
And some other things. In 1956, Time magazine called Color TV the most resounding industrial flop of 1956. Now, see that they were almost right. And then,
If you want to go on eBay and buy a nice TV, you can get it for, let's see, we'll tell you what it is.
and this is kind of how far technology has advanced from the old TVs.
Old one in the past.
It's an NEC. It's 84-inch widescreen, high-definition television plasma for $12,000 or $12,400, and its actual retail price was $18,975. So the price is high, but it's good TV.
And we're done.
Any questions?
Questions? Alex?
What are you gonna do when your family goes on vacation and you're gonna miss your favorite shows? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. Tape it with your personalized VCR. VCR has a long, complicated history, starting way back when this guy named John Mullen stole the idea of the magnetic phone from the Germans in 1899 and brought it over here to the U.S. The magnetophone was the magnetic storage, and it led to the development of the first audio recorder in the U.S. produced by Ampex. The first recorder, VCR, was introduced to the American people in the 1970s. The VCR was primarily used for audio, but later was developed for recording televised broadcasts. This time shift device in the VCR allowed viewers to either record something on TV when they were away from home, or record something and watch something different, simultaneously. At first, VCRs were primarily used by working adults and college students so they could watch missed soaps later in the day. This created conflict with network television because people no longer had to watch their shows live. They could tape them and watch them later. There wasn't any specific date given as to when the VCR was invented, or any one person who invented it. All we know is that it gradually progressed over to a few facts over time. A few facts about VCRs, just to let you know. In 1979, there were 8,000 homes that owned VCRs. And then by 1986, the year most of us were born, approximately 13 million VCRs were sold in just the U.S.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you a little bit how the VCR works. Understanding how a VCR works can be quite difficult. However, it really has only two jobs or tasks. First, it must deal with the tape, which is an extremely thin, fragile, and long plastic piece. The VCR then has to read the signals off the tape and convert them into other signals so the VCR can understand it. When the VCR loads the tape, two rollers, right here, will actually pull the tape out of the cassette. It's inserted in the two holes that is in a videotape. And it'll move along these tracks, right here, they'll move back. And wrap around the drum here, so the tape will move around, and then it'll read it from the audio and erase heads. Then I'm just going to show you a little bit about our electricity diagram. First, you have your power cord, and the electricity runs from the outlet into your power cord, and it separates into two different cords. One runs into a fuse, and for complicated reasons, we just said that it stops. The other one will run into two disc capacitors, and then it runs into a copper coiled wire that's, the copper is like all wound up. Then it runs into a redial electrolytic capacitor, and into another copper coiled wire. It moves up into a bunch of resistors and capacitors. And then it comes down into a series circuit. Then it runs over here into, it runs down here, up here into an integrated circuit. And then it comes up and over through these connections, which are right here. There's two of them. And this is where you'll find all your, like, play, rewind, those buttons. So it comes over here into your box for light, and that's where it'll say what you're doing, like you're rewinding or you're playing. And it'll come to these, that other connection will come around to the three other switches. So that kind of just all works together in one. Then it runs down from the connection into 7 different switches, which is all these for the VCR. And it runs down into another connection and comes up, and this is actually, it'll come around, go up to the power button, which is right up here, and then it'll go back and hit the stop and eject. It'll go through that one too. Comes back into here, and it'll runs through a bunch of resistors. Obviously there's not just 4 of them, there's more than that, but we just use 4. And it runs over here into, there's 3 connections right here. That's actually a perpendicular circuit board standing up, which is right here. But behind the board is where you have all these capacitors and resistors, and it'll run through them. Then it'll come back up into these 4 wires right there. And then it'll go down into a connection, back into an integrated circuit, through a bunch of capacitors and resistors, and then to the motor. And the motor is where converts the electrical energy into kinetic energy. And then it runs into a strip of wire, which is right there. And then it runs back into a couple capacitors, and then it'll run right back into the power cord. And while this is like a shortened version of what it actually does. A lot of it does go into this board right here to make the tape work. So just shorten it up.
VCR to this day has gone through numerous changes and will continue to go through many in the future. As we said before, VCRs had time shifting, which made it possible to record something on television by setting a timer and watching it later. The second modification on VCRs over time was the on-screen programming of VCR Plus. This made it easier for consumers to program or record television broadcasts. The third modification was the tapeless VCR. This VCR used modern computer technology to record television programs on a hard drive. It enabled users to store programs or shows up to several hours and can either be erased or used again. No more worrying about finding a videotape. The fourth modification was just an expansion of the third, and it was called a personalized television viewing service. And this is basically what we call TiVo, and it allows viewers to never again worry about missing their favorite television programs. Now I'm going to talk about the top 5 models. And as you can see, 4 of the 5 are combos, DVD and VCR combos. And the first one is called the RTV 5504 Personal Video Recorder, and it's priced at $149.99. And it delivers the ability to pause and replay live television while recording and or storing up to 40 hours of digital, tapeless audio and or video. The second most popular model is the Sylvania TVC 86OD DVD/VCR combo. And this is $199.99. And this model offers VHS recording and playback along with the quality and convenience of a DVD. It has a camcorder or gaming console plug that plugs into its unit's front panel for hassle-free connections. The third model is the Sony SLV D300P Progressive Scan DVD VCR combo, and that's $249.99. And it's has a 4-head VCR that offers commercial skip, 19 micron heads for clear images from EP recordings, and it includes multi-brand remote control that operates most televisions. The fourth model is the Samsung DVD B3650 Progressive Scan combo, and that's $169.99. And it's perfect for your favorite movies and music. It features VHS recording and playback. It has front panel audio, video inputs that accommodate a camcorder, digital camera, or TV console. And the fifth most popular model is the Toshiba SDV291 combo, and in silver is the most popular. And it's $189.99. And it offers convenient one-unit source for high-quality entertainment in both DVD and VHS formats, and it includes surround sound outputs, and the VCR includes 19 micron heads for clear recording, an audio clock set, an audio head cleaner, and a commercial skip.
Any questions?
So, what exactly does VCR stand? What exactly does VCR stand? How's it going over there?
What?
How's it going over there?
It's going good. I'm just reading the Red Lake Journal.
Red Lake Journal.
The Red Lake Journal, Stevie. Red Lake Journal. You must write in it.
Yes.
Athletes last night, the spokesman for the team expressed outrage, saying athletes were treated like criminals. You're listening to ABC News.
You may be sitting there right now